So hip extension is really crucial for good running ability. And this self-assessment was developed by Jay DeSherry, who's a physical therapist and a cycling and running coach, and it will help tell you if you have adequate hip extension for good running. So you want to kneel in a doorway or maybe a squat rack or something like that. Your kneeling leg should be vertical, and you want to get your tailbone and your mid-back against the doorway. And from here, I want to tilt my pelvis back behind me. I can think of pulling my belt buckle up to my chin. And as I tilt that pelvis back, my low back flattens against the wall. So I can feel that arch flatten and press back. I'm able to maintain my tall posture. My mid-back stays against the doorway. My low back flattens, and I feel some stretch in the thigh. And I'll do a few reps here. There's the tilt. And then there's that low back being flat, and I'll do one more. And I feel a little bit of stretch. I feel okay, basically. And that's telling me that I have enough hip extension to run. Signs that you need to work on your hip extension are these. If you try to tilt that pelvis and flatten that low back and you get an enormous amount of tension and it's too tight and you can't tilt that pelvis, you need to work on your hip extension. If you have to hunch over to flatten the low back and tilt the pelvis, you need to work on your hip extension. If you just can't flatten that low back, if you try, and there's too much tightness right there, you need to work on your hip extension. You generally will need to probably do some stretching up front here. You will probably need to make your glutes stronger. You may need to do a number of different mobility drills, and I have some videos about that that you can look at. So check both hips. Ideally, you should have symmetrical hips. You may find, though, that one side is a lot tighter than the other. You may be successful on one side and unsuccessful on the other. But that's a starting point for addressing hip extension for running, okay?